And we're now talking about characters. When I write anything, the characters are where the money is. For me, I always have my characters before I outline the plot. And the reason for that is very simple, because once I get to know the characters, the plot kind of writes itself. Now, in the case of the homeless pup, it's a little tricky because my first character was a dog, a puppy dog to be exact. And so the first thing I had to decide was, okay, so I've got this idea of having it in the Don Valley, and I've got the idea of a body being found, in this case a body that's been there a long time. It's a cold case, and we ended up using the skull because, you know, it does make a really interesting juxtaposition. So where do I get my people? I obviously have my police detectives, Paul Manzik and Jackie Ryan, who are my series detectives. And I have some of the forensic team, we call it the identification team, and my coroner, Dr. Weaver, and so on and so forth. They're going to come into play. But who is going to find the skull? Obviously, the puppy is not going to call the police when it finds the skull. And so I kind of drew on a little bit on what I knew there, because I have a son who's a veterinarian. And I know a little bit, you know, of what he's like and what he's done. And, you know, I could see a student veterinarian, I could see a student veterinarian trying to get this dog that is skittish and doesn't want to come to him. And I can see him having the persistence to keep trying to get it. And so that's who I picked. He's jogging early in the morning, and he spots this puppy, is worried about the puppy because it looks a little bit neglected, and chases it down, or tries to at least. And somewhere in his pursuit, he spots something even more in trouble, I guess, than the puppy, and that is a skull. And so he calls the police, and then you have the police. And so I can't really go into very much more detail here without giving away my whole story. But I will say that the characters that I ended up coming up with, I really like. Especially the one character who was very young when the person whose skull it is went missing. And I had no expectation when I started writing it, and until the moment that character walks into the scene and just kind of takes over. And that's always one of the most fun things for a writer, is when a character just sort of blows into this room and takes charge of the room. And that character became got a much bigger part than was intended in the beginning. And I really liked the way it turned out. And that's all I can say. You're going to have to read the book, and then you can talk to me about the characters if you like. So thanks for listening.